Hey, can you all hear me on this?
Yes, sir.
She might have left yet already, but let's give another round of applause for Jen. That was incredible.
Yeah,
Honestly, what a treat. Okay, I'm just gonna briefly introduce Stockton Black. He's up next. Stockton, let's give him a round of applause. Absolutely one of the greatest people I've ever met in my entire life. I wish I knew more embarrassing childhood stories. All I've heard is one time he did magic trick his high school crush into kissing him. So, guys, if you're looking for some tips, he's the man to go to. Ladies, watch out. 3 important things to know about Stockton. Number 1, he is a film movie genius. So he's worked on over 30 commercials, Hallmark movies. He's done all the Book of Mormon videos and currently working on The Chosen. I don't know if any of you have seen that. He's incredibly talented. Second thing, he is contagiously enthusiastic. Literally can get you excited about absolutely anything. Someone agrees. Third thing about Stockton, what I love most about him is he builds confidence in other people. And single-handedly, I love myself more because of Stockton. And it's one of his greatest gifts. So if we can return the favor, give him a round of applause while he comes up. Thanks. Okay, that was an amazing intro. Thank you. I don't deserve that at all. Actually, in fact, I'm honestly really humbled and grateful that I can be able to speak tonight. It's always been kind of a dream, and I remember back when Treehouse Talks was really kind of young. I came to as many as possible, and I loved it. And now I'm super humbled and grateful that I can kind of give back, participate. So if any of you guys, which I know you do, if you have a story to share or if you're really passionate about something, then reach out to Hollis, reach out to the awesome people that run Treehouse Talks as it continues to grow. I hope we're doing good. I hope sometimes sitting on the ground, you get kind of tired and you need to stretch and your back's kind of hurting, but I want to kind of loosen up a bit, and because I am so passionate about visual effects and I'm so excited to speak about it. So, if you remember anything about me, I love God, and I love service and other people, and I love movies and visual effects. So, I stole this from that guy right there, but let's talk about the most important one. Here, let's see. Go back. Okay, here's some of my favorite movies. When people ask me, what kind of movies do you love? I love just visual effects in movies. When a visual effect is done really well, then I love that movie. It's hard for me to find a movie that I really don't enjoy, but these are some of my favorites. A little bit about me is these are some of the projects that I've kind of worked on in the past couple of months or year. Utah actually has a great film community, and so if you love film, raise your hand if you've been on a film set before, or if you've... Okay, yeah, so a huge chunk. I love it. So film is a awesome thing. And so a little bit about me. I was kind of a weird kid. Most kids would come home from middle school, from school, and they'd play Call of Duty or they'd play, their Xbox. I would kind of come home and I would just I would put on some Hot Pockets, some pizza rolls, and I would get on YouTube on this little iPad and I would watch After Effects tutorials and Premiere tutorials and Maya and Blender and all sorts of stuff, and because I love learning about visual effects. And there's this YouTube channel called Corridor Digital. They started in 2005. They started making just awesome. Yeah, who's heard of Corridor Digital? Awesome, great company, great group. Anyways, the guy right there in the middle of the couch up there, Ren Weichman, he's from Oregon, and probably about 10 years ago, he posted a Snapchat on his Instagram, and I added him, and I was like, hey, can you help me with this visual effect? And he was like, yeah, I can. So he would, from that studio right there, he'd send me snaps and be like, hey, you should correct this, or hey, great sound design on this. So here's some of the early projects from when I was really young, working on visual effects with him. Let's go back here. Here's one of just like a Superman jump and the debris kind of breaks and the ground kind of cracks like a Superman here. Or, let's see if this will switch here. Next here. There we go. This is kind of like a fun little thing of just like, I went over to my buddy Branson's house that's here, and he had this green screen. And we made this fun little video, and we were just like having a time of our lives with visual effects. And we loved it. Visual effects are just the best thing ever. And so Marvel movies are known for their visual effects. Endgame, it cost about $1 billion to make, and it brought in a net worth of about $1.5 billion. But about half of that was pure visual effects. So $500 million went to the visual effects teams to make these kind of movies, which kind of blows me away. So I compiled some of my favorite little parts from... Okay, awesome. So to speak a little bit about visual effects, people use the term special effects and practical effects, but visual effects are all post. So if something's filmed in camera, like an explosion or smoke or things like that, those are all special effects. So practical and special, they're kind of synonymous terms, but visual effects are all post-production, so you kind of have to plan that out and kind of think about what you're doing. So I'd love to talk about, 20 different types of visual effects, but I just want to talk about these 4 quick ones. So compositing, or the first visual effect, is when you take all your different elements and you put them all together. You combine them all. So you could have an explosion, you could have a robot, or let's say you want to make like this castle and you have to put it in the background. So you have all these different elements, and then compositing is when you combine everything and put them all together. And so it kind of makes the final piece of a movie is the compositing. Tracking is when you film something that's moving, right? Because things in our world, they kind of move. Like if I hit that light, it would swing. And if you film that and you wanted to track something onto it, like text or an element, then you have to combine it with, using data, and you parent it to the other object. So if this moves, then your object moves with it. So if you have a boat and you want to put a tiger on it, then you kind of have to, do a lot of data and stuff to make sure your tiger moves with the boat rocking. So it looks all real. And tracking can be fun. Like the video we just watched, I just slapped it on a sign that I filmed a little bit. So it's like, you just kind of stick it on there like glue, and that's kind of tracking. Rotoscoping is when you have to separate the foreground from the background. So this can be a really strenuous, kind of time-consuming thing. It's almost like Photoshop, but in video. So sometimes you have to go frame by frame to really cut everything out, to put elements in between the foreground and background. And then King is one that everyone thinks of green screen. Oh, it's visual effects. So that's when you can just remove the background instantly. And I'm sure like half of the Hollywood movies you watch have green screen in it, and they're filmed at a studio and things like that, and they remove it. So of the movies that you watch, it's important to know how they're made and how they came to be. So you take all these elements, you take King and you take rotoscoping and you take green screen and matte paintings as well. Matte paintings, it's a simple one. It's just like a really pretty work of art that you kind of put into your scene. Like in the old Star Wars movies, they would hand draw all those laser blasts on the film. It was time consuming. It was remarkable. And let's say you make a pretty like space station type thing, and then you track and you composite and put it in your scene so it looks real. So I love visual effects because it takes a lot of work, and it takes an entire team. It takes big groups to make things possible. And these are a couple of the fun little things we used to do, like turn the basketball into money, or jump over a car, or would like dunk a basketball. You could just walk up there and dunk it. And visual effects are so cool. So I kind of want to turn things just a little bit. See, I'm in an office, and then all of a sudden you open up the door, and all of a sudden you're in the desert, and you're like, what? And then it's like Star Wars, and there's 2 suns out there, and it's like everything you can imagine, you can do. And that's what I'm passionate about. And so if you take away anything from this talk is, I know deep down you guys are passionate about things. You're thinking like, oh man, I wish I had more time to, make music, or to go into, painting or do those side hobbies. And my takeaway from this is you have to do it. The time is now. So there's someone named Jason Bagley, and he graduated from BYU. He's kind of what influenced me to switch from the film major to the advertising major at BYU. And he's worked on so many big things, like Wieden & Kennedy does tons of Super Bowl ads and everything like that. And so he did the Man Your Man Can Smell Like campaign, which is worldwide and big deal. And he was giving a conference to all of the creative directors at this company. And he was telling them, why don't you follow your dreams? Why don't you follow those passions? Which is kind of what I'm talking about right now. And he put together this slideshow. And he said, why are you happy? This was a big question. And do you hate yourself for the fact it's already been 3 days and you haven't done anything because you're a hack and there's no use in trying? A, are you always cleaning your office, running errands, checking Instagram, playing video games, doing everything because you're avoiding what you really want to do? I hear it all the time, like, oh, when I get time, I'll do that. Or even though I'm the same way, I hate that because the time is now. Everything from where you are right here, right now at Treehouse Talks, to what you want to accomplish, to what you envision, it's just work. It's just doing it, getting from point A to point B. P was pray that somehow you're transported out of this horrible situation to a tropical island, served delicious drinks and a coconut. P is powerful depression because your praying didn't work and now you're forced to start writing and you're not funny, and unrelated note, you don't even dress cool. And Y is huge mistake by your creative directors for approving your work, which will turn out poorly and embarrass you, your family, your neighbors, and everyone who thinks you're so cool for working in advertising. He's a really funny guy, and he's always been a hero of mine. So there's 5 things that I always follow, which are not being satisfied is a good thing. If you do some work, it's okay to be like, oh, it sucks, that's okay, I learned from it, I'm moving on. It's okay to do things differently, to be different than everyone else. You're your own competition. So instead of like, oh, that person's so much better than me, just concentrate on yourself and what you're trying to achieve. Creativity has no rules. If you want to, walk up in the air and dunk a basketball, like whatever you want to imagine, it's possible. Create what you want to see. So let's say you picture your goal. Just like, bear with me for a sec and try to think of that goal of where you want to be in a year or in 6 months, and set it up exactly how you envision it. Just to follow your dreams. There's a quote that says, without a goal, you can't score. So make sure you have that vision to accomplish those things that you really want to do. And a great quote is, if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're doing it wrong. And I mean that because all the time, I feel like it's a serious issue where we see like our hero and they're like, oh man, this person's so cool, I want to be just like them. Well, if God wanted another person like them, he would have made them. And I'm passionate that I know each one of you are here because God wants your talents. And the things that you bring into this world, there's a reason for it. Because I know that, we all have our divine role here on earth. And the world needs you. So with that, I love visual effects. And so I'm just throwing that on there in case if you have any visual effects, things you want to do, then you can hit me up. And I'd love to tackle some confusing computer problem or some why isn't this rendering correctly problem. And I love trying to work out those details because it's exciting. In Hollywood, they have this thing of if when they're making a Marvel movie, if you get stuck on a problem for more than 15 minutes, you raise your hand. And a supervisor comes and helps you out. Also, sorry, I put that on there. I think it's so cool. I love visual effects so much. It's pretty insane. I love it. Okay. Anyways, so with that, dreams are just. There's a quote that says, "Buy the ticket, take the ride." And I know that as we try to achieve our goals, then all we have to do is just follow what we love. And I know that you guys will do that. Everyone here, I like the people here. It's good vibes because all of you guys work hard. You came here to learn. You're not lazy. I don't like laziness. And the fact that you guys are just here, it's awesome, and I love it. And I challenge you to follow your dreams. Thank you.
Stockton.